This is take 4. I was waving my hands because I'm Italian, and I don't know, I have some kind of hand gesture on my video, so I don't even know what I said so far, so let's start over. I'm Elisa Maria. Welcome to Elisa Maria Designs. Today is Monday. I am in a very chillax mode coming back from the Jersey Shore. Went to the beach, didn't see any sharks, but I wanted to share a few things with you. I'm going to be diamond painting. I'm going to videotape that so that I have it ready for when Johnny reads the next chapter, which will be the next to last chapter of Jaws. And I told him this morning, you need to address the questions and the accolades that are being directed to you, because I have enough to do. You can answer your own comments, and you know, everyone is just going crazy about the last 2 chapters. They want to know what you're reading next, and you need to do that. You're a member, but you're also my partner, and let's get it going. Okay, so while I was away, there was a special delivery for me from Australia, and so I know my mailman very well. And he said, I got a pack. I was like, no, I don't have any packages. I'm like a hawk with my packages. He's like, no, it's from Australia. I'm like, oh, that could only be Angie. And I am going to meter this out because Angie, I love you. I have to send your email out. I'm just putting like the final like little touches on it. I'm trying to like get it all in there. I just went nuts. Johnny came home and he was like, what is all this stuff? I'm like, sit down. I have to go through it with you. But I'm going to be using this, and this came from Angie. Immunity Made tray. I've been dying to try Immunity Made tray, but it turns me off because I'm like, I'm not going to wait 3 months until like you call, and then I don't know what. I'm so indecisive, and so thank you. I get to try this awesome tray out. I am so excited. I'll be diamond painting with this today. And then Chris was at the door again, my mailman, and he delivered to me. Let me not show you my address like I always do. Well, anyway, it's from Wendy, so let's open it up together because this has to do with our witch. And my husband is upstairs doing his vocals. All right, so, and I also was in his room feeling very creative today. Got a lot of R&R, and I was filming him because he, you know, that live that I did with Kristen didn't just, I was showing you my address, didn't fall on deaf ears. I just shot my first music video. There you go. I have to put it all together, but I did shoot a music video. Oh, how sweet. This is Kristen, right? Oh, thank you for supporting my... let me, before I forget, let me just say thank you to everyone that purchased the canvases from Art Dot on Simone's, the German artist. I also want to let you guys know that I'm almost on the first row. I know that you guys just don't want to see me unbox. You know, it's a privilege to be able to be asked to show something and give your opinion. But I think your opinion is also that you work the canvas, even if you only do a row, and tell everybody what you think, and just accolades for that. The second thing, like, I thought about that when I was at the Jersey Shore and just like chillaxing while I was watching Johnny body surf. And I was like, you know, I really love shopping small shops, and I just intend to shop small shops. Like today I made an order. You guys know I use press-on nails and I do my own manis and stuff, and I am not ordering from the big A anymore. I'm just not. I'll get into it, you know, a little bit later when I do another video, but I just want to support small shops. I don't know how small or how big Art Dot is, but I'm not going to be an affiliate for Amazon anymore. I'm not enjoying it. It's a lot of work, and I just don't appreciate the way things come to me. And when I got that package from Art Dot, my husband's been package delivery for 27 years. He was mail delivery. His last 10 of his career was package delivery. He could not believe the way that package came and how it was delivered. I wish I would have got it on video, but I didn't know what it was. It was just so, probably they didn't want to put something on the front to make it look like, oh, we know what's in here. It was wrapped so carefully. It was like Fort Knox tight. And I'm like, I get something from Amazon. They'll like throw something this big in a big box and they'll put like one piece of tissue paper. There's like no love in it. No love. I'm not doing it no more. I'm done. Small shops for me all the way. Okay, I got that out of the way. And this is what I mean. Thank you for supporting my small shop. Let all you do be done in love. And, you know, this might just be like, oh, well, I don't need a card. Well, I do. Because this is so sweet and it's so true. Let all you do be done with love. And I've had such a lovely morning so far. Look at this gorgeous bookmark. Okay? Oh, and my favorite guy. Pooh! And a butterfly. Be brave, be bold. I put these on my drill trays if they have lids. That's what I do with mine. I decorate my drill trays. I'm making tea right now, and I actually was looking for, oh, I saw the green, I'm like, oh, it's peppermint. I didn't have any peppermint. This is actually decaffeinated. What? Is this just a lovely rose to use as a decoration? Because it's gorgeous. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Oh, it's a little squishy cat. Foofy, don't touch this. He's looking at me right now. Look, look. He got gifts today too. He got this today, and he got something from Aunt Angie. Yes, Aunt Angie sent him stuff. Look, this is just like you know, the little card, the thank you is so sweet, but then there's all these other little extras in here. Oh my gosh, look at this. I'm gonna put this right on here. And look at this little turtle. Oh my God, stop it. Stop it, Johnny. But there's another one in here. Oh God, I love turtles. I do, I love turtles. And we just stayed with our friends, and his daughter works at the Cape May Zoo, and she takes care of these big, big, big turtles. How adorable. Oh my God, that is just so lovely. So I'm gonna put it out here because she matches my canvas. Now to the witch. Witch. Oh my God, look at the color on this. Just look at the color. Can you see that? This is freaking adorable. And I know one doesn't have anything to do with the other, but I love the bats, especially since we just lost Oz. Oh my God, that's just so gorgeous. I've never had a trinket tray. I love it. And this commemorates, Wendy, my first event that I've ever hosted. And meeting Kristen, and always being a fan of Ren's, and meeting Rich and Tammy. So this means so much to me, and I can't get this on Amazon. So there you go. Thank you so much. I'm having such a lovely day today, a wonderful day. So let me get rid of this. There goes my address again. I'm gonna go make my tea. I'm making some fresh brewed iced tea for my son, because he comes in my house and he goes, there's nothing to drink in this house. Well, there is. It's called water, and that's what I drink. So I'm going to be working on The Mermaid. I'm going to be watching Basic Instinct. I'm going to be adding some more things to my Discord, and when there's a commercial on, if I can pop in and just say, hey, what's going on, I will. This has been so much fun. I love the color green. I love the color green, and this is like my favorite green, like a green apple green. And like I said, it means so much to me because it's the first event I've ever hosted. And I gotta put this on mute before he starts singing something that's going to get me in trouble. Oh, but I did do a video of him. I think I shot my first music video. We'll see. If not, it was just an exercise then. You know, who gets it right on the first time? What else did I want to tell you guys? Oh, while I'm working on this mermaid, I did have a question for Dreamer Design, and it had to do with the ABs that are symbol number B. And I got in touch, and Donna got back in touch with me really quickly. And I said, you know, Donna, are these supposed to be a mix of ABs and the color? Because I think that's the way I filled them in over here. And she's like, no, it should be all ABs. I'm like, well, I have a mix. And she's like, can you just work this a little bit more to make sure there's no other problems with this canvas? And I'm like, well, okay. And then I remembered that I had to get in touch with her because 4 of the colors were missing. So, you know, I haven't found those 4 colors yet. I've been doing a lot of organizing, you know what I mean? Like, I just went back to when I opened this up, and that's what I was telling you guys as a tip. When you get something, when you get a kit that you're going to put away, do your own little unboxing and take your video camera, you know, not video, but look at your canvas through your cell phone, you know, because you can notice all these little things that you just can't see with the naked eye. That's where I got the idea to add the special enhancements for the bubbles on her face that I'm going to be doing. I'm like, oh, these are bubbles. I'm going to get enhancements. But you'll see certain things that you might not see with your naked eye. And then take a, you know, just videotape what you're getting in your packaging. This way, if you say to yourself, if you're anything like me and things tend to migrate in all different places, then you can turn around and say, did I put this somewhere else, or did I misplace it, or what did I actually get in my unboxing? It's a really good tip. You know, I videotape all my unboxings, so, but I just figured, why not? Why shouldn't you? Why shouldn't you videotape and see? So he's getting ready to sing Train of Pain, I think it is, so I gotta turn this on mute. I'll see you soon. Hey guys, how's it going this morning? Yes, it really is Wednesday morning, Whip Wednesday. I can't believe that I started this video for Monday and then it turned into Tuesday. And it's Wednesday, but don't we all have weeks like that where I don't know what happened to me. I went to the shore for John's reunion. We had a blast. We've been dying to get to the shore. Our friends have been dying to get us to stay with them. And let me just interrupt right here. This is, you know, I had this talk yesterday with Kristen and Tammy. We were on my Discord and we were talking about what we were working on. And Kristen was working on a dreamer design. I was working on a dreamer design. And we were talking about like just how bad the black trails are. Oh, they're so yucky. Anyway, I'm showing you guys the horror. Oh, my beautiful new Muni maid. Thank you again, Angelina. So yeah, we wanted to go to the shore. We've been dying to go to the shore. Our friends have been dying to have us come and stay with them. They're so much fun, and they're like a half a block from the beach. And we just took it slow, nice and easy. And the thing about our friend's house is that there were like 11 people in the house and nobody saw each other. And it's not that it's like this big mansion or anything like that. It's a family house. But their dad was a contractor. And I was like, wait a minute, what? There's another bed. Where? Like, who's back there? Like, there's bedrooms back there? And they're like, oh, yeah. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is so cool. So and they're like just so easy to be with. You know, they're just like, come and go as you please. Do what you want. But we're always like, together. Like, it's not like we're all in the same room. So it's like it's just like, listen, you know, we're just chill, and they're just like, listen, this is what we do in the morning. You know, you could wait, we could go out later to go eat, or we could just go to the corner and get breakfast. Like, it's just like that chill. And so Johnny got up early with his guitar and he went to the beach. And I think I might have a picture that I could pop in of him. Yep, there he is. I took him from very far away. He looks naked with a guitar. And then, you know, we hung out on the beach for a little bit and we took a walk, and I was just so relaxed and refreshed because the night before, this is the day after we have already slept and everything else. I could not believe that I slept straight through. Probably because Foofy was not in the bed with me. I slept straight through, and I woke up because I felt something on my leg. Now, I told this story yesterday during my live, that I was dressed for the reunion. I had pants on. They're a very light cotton. They're like sailor pants. They're blue and white stripe, and they tie along the side. The sides are open. So I drove to Wildwood
went to a reunion, danced, ate, danced, took walks, went to our friend's home, hung out, sat around, talked, ate pizza, watched TV, went to bed. And when I got up in the morning, which was like 9 hours later, I slept so hard, and I knew exactly where I was when I woke up. I was so comfortable. I found something on my leg. Of course, I took a picture of it. I have receipts for everything. That is a drill. That is a drill from the art dot from Simone's canvas. Yes, I took a picture of it. But I could not. We left early Sunday. We left at a really odd time, like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, right when people are going to the beach or getting off the beach. You're either a morning person and you're at the beach, or you're going at 3 o'clock where, that's like prime time to a lot of people, 3 o'clock going to the beach, because I think people are leaving. If you get up late, people are really leaving, and you're going at 3 o'clock and you're getting it just like when the sun is just starting to ease up a little bit. We go in the morning and we get off before the sun starts up. So at 3 o'clock you can go on when it's just starting to ease up, and you can get that really nice time of the hour where you're in between, still nice, but it's getting ready to wind down. So that's when we left. I would leave a little bit earlier next time. I didn't hit that much traffic, but I would leave just but we had to make a stop. So, a 5-minute stop. Forget it. Johnny wanted more ice in the cooler for stuff that we were bringing home from the shore. And I don't know what happened Monday. I don't know what happened. I could not get myself started. And I was like, you know what? You really never take 2 days off in a row. So take 2 days off in a row. So what? Just do it and relax. Because even Kristen and I had this conversation. I'm talking about Kristen Block, the artist that did all the canvases for Diamond Art Emporium's Witch. She's got all the witches. And some vampires and mermaids that are just absolutely stunning. We were talking one day, and she's like, do you ever get burnout? And I'm like, no, I don't think I get burnout, but I do think I get frustrated. And that's a lot of mental energy going on when you get frustrated. And I have had to really train myself, looking at what frustrates me and what can I do to not be in this, maybe not so much be in this situation again, because we are going to be frustrated by things, but what do I do when I feel frustrated? And how could I avoid this or make it a little bit not as intense the next time? That's the word that I'm looking for. So I'm really not looking at what is going on while I am diamond painting. But Tuesday was pretty much the same. Tuesday, I ended up, John goes to bed way earlier than I do because he's still on his mailman schedule where he's up at 4:30 in the morning. So by 6 o'clock, if you're looking at John, he's out of it. And yesterday, he was my guest on my live, and he just was sitting there. And I was like, was it Lily that said, Jay Lily that said, I've never seen John so quiet? One of you said, I've never seen John so quiet. Well, that's John out of steam. That's what's going on there. And he went to bed early, and then I went to bed around 11 p.m. and he was up, or barely sleep. He's very sensitive to me and my movements and walking in and out of the room and me being next to him and everything else. And he even said, he's like, I'm so sensitive to you that when you were sleeping, when we were at the shore, I felt your skin. He's like, it didn't even feel like you. He's like, your breathing, everything was different. So just being away that one day. And I guess my mind was still there because I left it there for 2 more days. Monday turned into Tuesday, and Tuesday turned into Wednesday. But was that where I was going with this? I can't remember where I was going. But that's, Johnny, he's just out of it. And he's up early in the morning. And so when I walked into the bedroom, he got up and he went downstairs and he went and got Foofy. And he goes and puts Foofy in the bed. Where's Foofy sleep? I'm Foofy's imprint. So Foofy is all on top of me. I'm like, what are you doing to me? I'm exhausted. I want to go to bed. And he's right. And you cannot move Foofy. He's like you dropped an anchor. That's it. He's on that bed. And he just looks at you like, well, what do you want? And then John sleeps like he fell off a building. You know, he's like, well, in the bed. He just, you know, he's just there. So I really didn't sleep the night before, and I went to bed in the afternoon. Guys, I don't know if I jumped and recorded the fact that I heard someone in my house, and it was my husband who left, and that's why I start recording, and now he just came down the steps, and I'm having one of those moments like, what is going on? He's like, well, I just walked. He said, yeah, I left, but I walked back in the house and walked right by you, walked up the steps. You didn't even know that I walked in the house. I'm like, no. So I guess maybe I'm still in my funk, guys, because I did not hear the door open. My husband walk up the steps and come back down again. This is how focused I am when I am doing something. I'm so focused that I guess I could just like, I don't know, leave the world behind. So I'm trying to figure out why I'm in this funk now. And he's talking to me. I'm like, I cannot believe that I'm sitting down here. And I guess he knows what I'm doing. I guess he knows that I'm talking to you guys, that I videotaped something and I'm talking to you guys. And I hear him coming down the steps and I'm like, oh my God, like scared me to death. But I'm like, I think I need to do my self-care Sunday that I missed on Sunday, because it does keep me grounded for the week. And I think maybe that's what I'm missing. So I went upstairs to go get my Mark Nepo book, and I'm looking to see like how much time do I actually have here left? Because I was also thinking in the beginning of this video that he's upstairs with the guitar, and I'm just going to put some music very low in the background, where I can really totally block him out, because guys, there's nothing more frustrating than doing a video and then having, you know, YouTube tell you, well, I hear like this, you know, chords in the back, and I really don't know what he's playing half the time. And they're like, oh no, we hear this in the background. Sorry. You're going to have to cut that out of your video. And I can't, because I'm doing an unboxing or I'm doing other things. So for some reason, I think Foofy again, the culprit, went into his studio, and he opened the door to let him out and didn't shut the door. And that's why I heard him, of course. But this is a braid on the mermaid. I'm just looking up now. It's the braid on the mermaid. And I will say I call Kurtis Rykovich the McQueen of couture when it comes to these damsels or fantasy figures or characters like from storytime characters like Red Riding Hood. Like what he puts his characters in it's always very elaborate. And I used to think that when I was doing dresses like crimson or lilac, that the couture dresses that they're in were a lot of confetti, but he really has an intensity when it comes to hair, which is great, because as a person that also sketches, hair is very difficult. So he puts a lot of movement and a lot of texture in the hair. And this is a braid that is forming. It's just so gorgeous. And it's supposed to be not just that color teal, but also that color teal. I'm using the black right now, but that teal that you see should be AB drills. And it's a mix of AB drills and the same color teal. So I was using it like that. I was like, oh, this is really odd. Is there something new that I thought, oh, well, it's hair. So it's nice that you have the hair that has the teal braid and also some little ABs, and you just pick them up as you pick them up. Then I'm thinking, this can't be right. And it's absolutely not. So I'm going to get in touch with Donna and just tell her, you know, yeah, I know there were four different colors that were missing. Mm-hmm. However, these should be all AB drills. But I kind of like the effect. I kind of like the way that it looks, that every now and again there's just an AB drill. But then I'm a Virgo and I'm a perfectionist, so it will just freak me out that it's not all AB drills. So yeah, I think that I need a self-care Sunday. So today is August the 6th, and I'm going to open this up. And yesterday was August the 5th when I had my live, and that was Marilyn Monroe's birthday. And every year I read something that Ayn Rand wrote for the Los Angeles Times, I believe, when she was doing commentaries, editorials for the paper. And she did an editorial on Marilyn Monroe. And I really should probably even read that. It's one of my favorite readings, things written about Monroe. And it has to do with hatred of the good for being good. That sometimes you don't know why people just don't like you. And it's just, there's nothing that you did wrong. Sometimes it's just that you're good. And people either don't believe you're that good, or they're jealous that you're that good, and you know, you're a virtuous person. And they do. There's a real battle that we're in today between good and evil. And yeah, I'm going to read that for you guys. Let me just see what's going on August the 6th with Mark Nepo and the Book of Awakening. The heart's pleasure. We are born with this need to cry our naked cry inside each other. We are all so shy about our sexuality that we often miss the quiet teachings that overcome us in moments of true intimacy. The deep intensity of sensitivity during orgasm, for instance, is a sweet paradox in how we all cherish that moment and want to return there over and over. And yet none of us can endure that ecstasy for very long. Now, I'm like, my mind is blown right now. I don't know if I'm living in an alternate universe. I have never heard Mark Nepo talk about sex and intimacy in this way in anywhere in this book. So evidently this was a day that I've missed for years because I've been carrying this book around for 10 years. But I also have just got done talking about the sexiest woman ever to live, Marilyn Monroe. And I don't know, Marilyn, did I conjure you up from the spirit world? Okay, let's keep going. Because I've learned that it may not make sense at the moment, but it usually comes around that it does. This heightened moment reveals a great deal to us about both our very human limitations and our deepest moments of being alive. It is not by chance that we feel compelled to be naked and vulnerable in the presence of another, that despite all our fears and defensive styles, we want to be held and touched completely just at the moment when we are unbearably sensitive. This is the heart's definition of pleasure, and though we need this moment of exposure and release to feel complete, we also must accept that we cannot bear it for very long. This is why the cries of ecstasy and agony often sound the same. That we need to feel such complete sensitivity and vulnerability in union with another is proof that no one can live this life alone. In this way, true intimacy cannot happen without trust. When we let our bodies become this sensitive while holding back the heart, we forgo ecstasy and experience its smaller echo, climax. In actuality, this moment of ecstasy, of holding nothing back, can be experienced not just during sex, but in being and doing and truth-telling of all our relationships. In the ecstatic moment when we allow ourselves to be completely revealed and held at the same time. In this daring and fragile moment, the heart rehearses all its gifts. Being who we really are, holding nothing back, trusting another, being complete, and witnessing the completeness of another. So I had to take a moment with that reading, and I wasn't ready for it either. But the part that stays with me is this: that intimacy is about being completely revealed and held at the same time, and not just in romance. So, Nepo was talking about an intimate relationship with another person, but I thought this is the way that it is in every relationship. This is the way that it is in friendship and in family and right here in our creative spaces. And that's what this channel has become for me. It's a space where I could show up as I am, funk and all, and I'm still met with kindness. It's the greatest revelation to this community. I didn't think that when I had, my first time in painting, that I was going to find a community that just embraces one another with kindness. And here's another thing about creating and about sharing your life online. Sometimes you think you're going to record, or what you think you're going to record shifts. And today was one of those moments. Well, this whole week was one of those moments. So I wanted to share that with you, because maybe you're in a funk too. Or maybe you've forgotten just how close we're allowed to get to another human being if we trust ourselves enough to be seen. So maybe today it's your turn to let someone in. Maybe you trust someone with the truth. Or maybe you just breathe along someone who sees you. And if that someone is yourself, even better. So after sharing that intimate reading by Mark Nepo, I was telling you about another piece, very different, but still about what it means to shine in a world that sometimes, a lot of the times, fears light. And it was written by Ayn Rand. And Ayn Rand wrote Atlas Shrugged. It's an editorial Ayn Rand wrote after Marilyn Monroe's death. And Ayn Rand was a very big fan of Marilyn Monroe. And I always call it hatred of the good for being good, but that's the theme of the editorial. It's from her book, Voice of Reason. And this was published right after Monroe died in 1962, a couple weeks after. And it's called Through Your Most Grievous Fault. And in it, Rand didn't blame Monroe. She blamed society. And society resents, at times, and often again, goes with the light, resents joy, pure joy, talent, and a beauty that is harmless. She called it hatred of the good for being good. She didn't call it envy, but something darker. And it's a cultural sadness that we have that punishes good rather than celebrating. Stories have been written about it since the beginning of time. And it came right at the right time because it made me think about my own funk this weekend and what happens when we guard our own light or when the world tries to dim it. And it makes me wonder how many of us are held back or quieted because we make others feel small in some way by simply being ourselves. So what is hatred of the good? It's this deep seated dissatisfaction with virtue and goodness. And I had said in the beginning of this video, this voiceover, we're in a battle between good and evil like never before in our lifetime. And there are things that I have started to believe now at this stage, this stage, because the world is a stage of my life, that I never thought that I would believe. But, you know, it's just like, I can't believe how dark some things can become, and right under our nose. But this is a deep-seated dissatisfaction with virtue and goodness, and or just resenting someone simply for being admirable or joyful. And Ayn Rand used Monroe as a mirror. She saw Monroe's brilliance as fragile, and she used it to expose the societal cruelty towards innocence and vulnerability. And, you know, again, like I say, these things have a way of weaving themselves together. You know, that reading, that raw, vulnerable reading was Monroe in a nutshell. And the editorial serves as a broader, I think, indictment on society. And it's a culture that cannot tolerate brightness or aspiration, and views it as toxic. I cannot stand this term, cancel culture. I mean, by what standard are you allowed to cancel another person? And it's a very small and unstable part of society that runs around screaming at the top of their lungs that we can't have this. Well, by what standard? Because the majority says that we can. But the majority is stable, and they kind of just walk away and turn a blind eye. And I think a lot of people are getting really disgusted of it. And I'm hoping that it's starting to be tamped down. So I think it's only fitting that after that very vulnerable and raw reading and very, very intimate reading, that I read to you what Ayn Rand wrote about Monroe. Through your most grievous fault from the voice of reason. Essays in Objectivist Thought. And this was written August 19th, 1962, 2 weeks after Monroe's death. The death of Marilyn Monroe shocked people with an impact different from their reaction to the death of any other movie star or public figure. All over the world, people felt a peculiar sense of personal involvement and of protest, like a universal cry of, "Oh no." They felt that her death had some special significance, almost like a warning which they could not decipher. And they felt a nameless apprehension, the sense that something's terribly wrong was involved. They were right to feel it. Marilyn Monroe on screen was an image of pure, innocent, childlike joy in living. She projected the sense of a person born and reared in some radiant utopia, untouched by suffering, unable to conceive of ugliness or evil, facing life with the confidence, the benevolence, and the joyous self-flaunting of a child or a kitten who is happy to display its own attractiveness as the best gift it can offer the world, and who expects to be admired for it, not hurt. In real life, Marilyn Monroe's probable suicide, or worse, a death that might have been an accident, suggesting that, to her, the difference did not matter, was a declaration that we live in a world which made it impossible for her kind of spirit and for the things she represented to survive. If there ever was a victim of society, Marilyn Monroe was that victim, of a society that professes dedication to the relief of suffering, but kills the joyous. None of the objects of the humanitarian's tender solicitude, the juvenile delinquents, could have had so sordid and horrifying a childhood as did Marilyn Monroe. To survive it and to preserve the kind of spirit she projected on the screen, the radiantly benevolent sense of life, which cannot be faked, was an almost inconceivable psychological achievement that required a heroism of the highest order. Whatever scars her past had left were insignificant by comparison. She preserved her vision of life through a nightmare struggle, fighting her way to the top. What broke her was the discovery, at the top, of as sordid and evil as the one she had left behind. Worse, perhaps, because incomprehensible. She had expected to reach the sunlight. She found instead a limitless swamp of malice. It was a malice of a very special kind. If you want to see her groping struggle to understand it, read the magnificent article in the August 17, 1962 issue of Life magazine. It is not actually an article. It is a verbatim transcript of her own words, and the most tragically revealing document published in many years. It is a cry for help, which came too late to be answered. Quote, "When you're famous, you kind of run into human nature in a raw kind of way," she said. "It stirs up envy, fame does. People you run into feel that, well, who is she? Who does she think she is? Marilyn Monroe? They feel fame gives them some kind of privilege to walk up to you and say anything to you, you know, of any kind of nature, and it won't hurt your feelings, like it's happening to your clothing. I don't understand why people aren't a little more generous with each other. I don't like to say this, but I'm afraid there is a lot of envy in this business." Envy is the only name she could find for the monstrous thing she faced, but it was much worse than envy. It was the profound hatred of life, of success, and of all human values, felt by a certain kind of mediocrity, the kind who feels pleasure on hearing about a stranger's misfortune. It was hatred of the good for being good, hatred of ability, of beauty, of honesty, of earnestness, of achievement, and above all, of human joy. Read the Life article to see how it worked and what it did to her. An eager child who was rebuked for her eagerness. Sometimes the foster families used to worry because I used to laugh so loud and so gay. I guess they felt it was hysterical, she said. A spectacularly successful star whose employers kept repeating, "Remember, you're not a star," in a determined effort, apparently, not to let her discover her own importance. A brilliantly talented actress who was told by the alleged authorities, by Hollywood, by the press, that she could not act. An actress dedicated to her art with passionate earnestness. Quote, "When I was 5, I think that's when I started wanting to be an actress. I loved to play. I didn't like the world around me because it was kind of grim. But I loved to play house, and it was like you could make your own boundaries." End quote. Who went through hell to make her own boundaries, to offer people the sunlit universe of her own vision. Quote, "It's almost having certain kinds of secrets for yourself that you'll let the whole world in on only for a moment when you're acting." End quote. But who was ridiculed for her desire to play serious parts. A woman, the only one, who was able to project the glowingly innocent sexuality of a being from some planet uncorrupted by guilt, who found herself regarded and ballyhooed as a vulgar symbol of obscenity, and who still had the courage to declare, "We are all born sexual creatures, thank God, but it's a pity so many people despise and crush this natural gift, said Monroe. A happy child who was offering her achievement to the world with the pride of an authentic greatness and of a kitten depositing a hunting trophy at your feet, who found herself answered by concerted efforts to negate, to degrade, to ridicule, to insult, to destroy her achievement, who was unable to conceive that it was her best she was punished for, not her worst, who could only sense in helpless terror that she was facing some unspeakable kind of evil. How long do you think a human being could stand it? That hatred of values has always existed in some people in any age or culture. But 100 years ago, they would have been expected to hide it. Today, it is all around us. It is the style and fashion of our century. Where would a sinking spirit find relief from it? The evil of a cultural atmosphere is made by all those who share it. Anyone who has ever felt resentment against the good for being the good and has given voice to it is the murderer of Marilyn Monroe. Ayn Rand. In closing, I wish I had more time for these two readings, because I would really like to marry them both together. Like I said in the beginning, these ways have a way. These readings are so serendipitous when I read them. I don't know where they're going, and I had Monroe in the back of my mind, and now I'm marrying them both together. So in the first reading, section 1, I'm calling it now because I'm doing my own little scribbling while I'm getting my thoughts together. Nepo talks about true intimacy and that it's not just physical, that we have to have the courage to let ourselves be fully seen and held and known without holding anything back. And it is in those moments when we drop our defenses and we offer our unfiltered selves, trusting someone to receive it with care. But there's a paradox that we crave that exposure and we also fear it. That is the paradox. We want to be touched and known when we're most vulnerable, but we can't bear that kind of ecstasy for long. So we pull back and we hide. And those negative emotions are just always, if you dig, you'll find at the root, fear. When we do, we trade something vast and sacred for something smaller, what Nepo called echo. And I use that word echo a lot in my yin yoga teaching when I am teaching. So we trade something vast and sacred for something smaller, something a safer, quieter echo of connection. But there are rare moments that we do allow ourselves to be fully revealed and received, and that's when the miracle happens. We remember who we are, and we remember what it means to be whole. And now on to Ayn Rand's editorial of Monroe. And she wrote that there is no tragedy in the death of a person who had no desire to live, but there is in the death of one who did. And Rand believed Marilyn wasn't destroyed by fame. And I believe that too, but by a world that couldn't tolerate her brightness. She coined it hatred of the good for being good. That is worse than envy. It is the cultural cruelty aimed at those who shine too brightly and that they love too freely and they feel too deeply. She regarded Monroe's innocence as a threat to the people who had long abandoned their own luminous presence. And so the world mocked her. They used her and they blamed her for the loneliness it created in her. And so as I find myself holding both these truths, Nepo's quiet call to vulnerability and Rand's defiant defense of those who dare to live in the open. Because being fully seen, truly intimate, and wildly alive takes enormous courage. It's no wonder we retreat. No wonder we hide our joy. We dull our sparkle. We armor our hearts. But maybe today we can reclaim a little piece of that light. Maybe we can look at Monroe and honor her and honor our own softness. And we can sit beside someone physically or spiritually and say, here I am. I trust you with me. And if no one is sitting beside you today, then know this. I see you. I hear you. And this channel, this little pocket of light, is a place where your sparkle is not too much. It is welcome here. And so I want to thank Angie again for the beautiful happy mail, and for Wendy K for the gift that is so special to me. In fact, I am actually jogging back and forth between thinking about these two readings and jumping in and out of a meeting with Ren and Kristen and Rich and Tammy, and texting Kristen on the side saying I'm totally multitasking, but I'm here, even though I don't believe in multitasking. But the gift from Wendy that sits now on my desk will always remind me not only of being involved in this event and with these beautiful people, these luminous presences and lights, but it will just remind me of this reading. And then the last thank you is for all of you for showing up exactly as you are and creating the world that you want to live in, and let yourself be held in it. You know, Monroe tried that. You know, when I'm going back to that article and how, you know, her foster parents would look at her like there was something wrong with her because she loved to laugh and she loved to play. And she loved that because if you remember what she said, the world was so grim. And so she created that world that she wanted to live in, where I don't think so much that she was the star, but I think she believed herself to be that that's where all the other stars were. And remember what Rand said, when she got to the top where she thought the sunlight was, she found this horrendous malice that was worse than what she grew up in. It's just so mind-blowing to me. I'm actually sitting here just holding my head at the thought of someone saying, you know, I'm going to leave this world behind. I'm going to create the world that I want to live in. And this is, you know, this world is not, I'm not of this world where it's so grim and dark and people look at me strangely because I love to laugh and I love to play and I love to have fun and I love to be joyous and I only see the good. I see a lot of myself in that. There's a lot of times that people are like, are you okay? Like, are you really this ditzy? I'm really this naive still. Like, I never grew out of it. And I've said a lot of times in my diamond painting videos that my girlfriend Denise was like, Elisa, you got to find a way to protect yourself. Not everyone is your friend. You know, you walk into a room and you're this bright light, and not everyone is attracted to it because they're like you. They're attracted to it because they want to just feed on you. And they fed on Monroe. And I didn't learn how to protect myself. And I was like, this is who I am. I've said it a million times. My husband sometimes watches my videos and he's like, I just cannot believe how raw and vulnerable and authentic you are. And it's just such a beautiful thing to see. And I'm like, you know, John, this is who I am. And if people want to mock me and make fun of me, go right ahead. I think I've learned to let that bounce off of me. I really don't care what anyone's opinion of me is. I don't have to worry about what my opinion is of myself. That's all I have to worry about. And I don't even have to worry about it. I just have to be it, right? Monroe created her world. And she I don't know if she found herself in that world, because I don't know if she allowed herself to be held in the magic that she created all around her. Like, I could go on for hours about this, but I'm coming to the end of my video, and I think it's a topic that we just not drop. I think you should let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you want to explore this theme a little bit more? But I hope that you are creating the world that you want to live in today. Be well, my friends. I'll see you in the next one.